Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters, and welcome to Albayan Live. We are live from Albayan Radio Studios on this Saturday evening, the 4th of April 2020. I am Abu Abdurrahman, and I'm very pleased to be joined by my dear brothers, Dr. Omar Najjarine and Sheikh Nassim Abdi. Assalamu alaikum, brothers.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
As always, it's a pleasure and honor to have you here in Albayan Radio Studios in beautiful Belmore.
Pleasure's all ours.
You're right there.
I thought you were about to say beautiful Melbourne for some reason.
I'd like to be in Melbourne, but yeah. Belmore, Melbourne, close. That right, 850 kilometres away, is it? What is it, Dr. Omar?
800, 900? 850, 900?
I have no idea.
Were you there recently, Nassim?
No, not too recently.
I know
I do want to go, subhanAllah.
Allah, Sheikh Jaled goes down to Melbourne, sees the brothers quite a bit.
Yes. A beautiful place, Melbourne. Now, we are live, so you can contribute to tonight's program by leaving your comments, suggestions, feedback, questions on our Facebook page. We are live on Facebook. Assalamu alaikum to all our viewers on Facebook. Leave your comments there in the questions section, and we'll try to get to them. And we are live on our apps and Wi-Fi radios.
They can call in as well.
And they can call in, whoever would like to call in, the old technology.
97486168.
You've stuffed it. It's right there on the box. Here we go. Have a look.
97406160.
That's right. Omar, have you memorized that?
97406160.
So I just got the zeros and eights wrong.
Yeah. It's still too much wrong there.
Not to call that number, you just announced this. Who picks up?
We can do it on air.
I think people are actually doing that since they're quite restricted at home now, just calling random numbers.
Well, this is actually, subhanAllah, something that Sheikh Jamil, Allah Yajzi al-Khair, has been doing as like a da'wah and community initiative with some of the brothers in Wollongong. So the masjid's got like a big WhatsApp group.
That's good, yeah.
And he just will go through every day and choose, a certain amount, مثلا 10, 15, whoever it is, and he'll just give them a call. And a lot of people, subhanAllah, really appreciate it because a lot of people, especially in these times, they just want someone to talk to. So 100%. Maybe if someone randomly did call a person, he's got no idea who it is, but
I remember
we might actually have a good conversation.
We made the mistake once on a phone number. There was a lecture, and the advertiser and the number was wrong.
Oh no!
And we didn't know in that, and even myself, once I called that number, and someone answered. I'm like, yeah, just inquiring about this, and the guy went off his nut. He goes, why do people keep calling me about this? I think it was like a Day of Judgment lecture or something like that. Why keep people asking, who are these? This, and subhanAllah, I remember once also there was a sign, a Holden commercial board, whatever, like big signage, and had like inside the car, and the guy's using his Bluetooth in the car, and there was a phone number that was written on there. SubhanAllah, some of the brothers said, let's try calling it, and the actual number is the guy that designed the actual thing. No. And he answered, and we just want, and he started laughing. He goes, the biggest mistake, he goes, I've had over 1,000 phone calls from
that thing.
So subhanAllah,
when I changed my number, so I had my 0419 number, and I had that for a very long time. I ended up going overseas. I came back. So, as you know, when you don't have your number, it goes back into the system, and someone else gets it after a while. So when I came back to Australia, a lot of brothers that were trying to get in touch with me was calling this my 1419 number, a 0419 number, and at the beginning they were, going a bit crazy. Like, look, this is not that person where like they saw caravans or something. But then the brothers that were like later on, like after like 6 months, they just started going along with it. So if they would say, for example, like Assalamu alaikum, they would probably be like, hey, how you going? So if they'd ask him a question, they'd actually start replying. A lot of brothers with my old number actually happened to them.
I got a message. There's a brother, someone that called me, and I think he told me, Mark, he goes, Mark, we're going. You want to come or not? Don't stop lying, mate. I go, I'm sorry, I think you got the wrong day. He goes, stop pulling my leg, mate. Come on, listen, me and Darren and Joe and Mark, and we're going to head off. You don't want to come, that's up to you, this and that. Again, I'm thinking, he goes, stop playing games with me, mate. He goes, oh, don't make me slap you. And he's going off his head. And then I go, listen, I seriously got the wrong number and I can't talk now. And I shut the phone. He sent me a message. He goes, we're at Blackhead about to go to Oakley Island. He goes, you want to come? He goes, we'll be back Sydney Friday. He goes, no answer in 9 minutes, we're gone. And I go, you honestly have the wrong person. And then finally when he realized, he goes, oh, apologies, me and the person were having a sick sense of humor. He goes, all the best. And I actually looked up Oakley Island. It's one of the You know, when you have like the Hawkesbury River and there's like a secluded island. I told him, I go, man, Oakley Island looks pretty good. have a good trip. But yeah, subhanallah, yani, I guess that what Sheikh Jamil you mentioned is doing, wallah, yani, that is a very good initiative, man.
Like
I think
checks, huh?
yeah,
it's pretty good. He mentioned the other day when he was on Albayan Live, he mentioned that pretty good initiative. We should.
There was one brother, rahmatullah alayhi, he's passed away now, where that was his mission. His mission was, or not his mission, one of his da'wah efforts was every single day he's got a list. Let's say he's got 100 brothers. Every day he'll choose, masalan, 13 or however many, so that he can call them he can call that number every single day, and every week he'll call. So every Monday, masalan, he'll call me. Every Tuesday he'll call Omar and that list. Every Tuesday he'll call Sheikh Nidal and that list. So every day he's calling a different group of brothers, and that connection becomes weekly. And he was one of the most effective brothers, subhanAllah, in da'wah, because everyone loved him. I don't know one person that didn't like him.
I think the core of that is how we're tying this obviously with our current situations. Check up on people, see how people are going. And I remember that. It's sad to say in a way that we did have some initiative a long time ago where we'll call people out of random or people we haven't spoken to a long time, and alhamdulillah, a lot of people. Sometimes it would be. Assalamu alaikum, how you going, how's things, this and that, whatever, just check it up. But then what we'll put the bottom of the message is like, and this message is directly to you, Nassim, it's not a general message. So the person understands it's not just a random
sending it to
send it to everyone. SubhanAllah, a lot of brothers they would appreciate it. And myself, once I got an Eid message that actually had Assalamu alaikum, my dear brother Omar. I'm like, wow, this is different, this is direct. And he said, and he added something to the message that as something between us that I know that's not a random message. Say my name and something that only me and him, you know what I mean, know about. So I respected that a lot. But sometimes people, there's always a small percentage, that when you call them, they think that you want something. They think that...
And they're actually shocked. Like, their tone for the beginning of the conversation is one thing, and then when they realize that you actually don't want something, it's like, oh, you actually don't want
I was thinking through my phone, I saw a name Yahya, and this is a brother I haven't spoken to a long time. And I'm alright, I've got no problems with other people I know that had a little bit of, conflict, work conflict, whatever. So yeah, I'll give him a call. And then he answered, I go, Assalamu alaikum Yahya. The first thing he said to me, he goes, hey, you've called the wrong Yahya, yeah? That's the first thing he said. I go, no, I'm calling you. He goes, no. He goes, you're calling another Yahya. You called me by accident. Just be honest, be truthful. I go, no, I'm calling you. I was going through my phone, I saw your name. I haven't spoken to you for a while, thought I'd give you a call. So subhanAllah, some people, they think... why is this person call me? And he's up to something. He wants to borrow money. He wants something. He wants a favor. And sad to say that. We only call people only if we want favors. That's very sad to.
Dr. Omar, Yahya,
say that.
Yahya wasn't his real name. He just used Yahya as an example. We have
sort of.
So actually, Yahya was like the name was changed, or it was actually his real name.
No, it actually was his real name.
It wasn't. It wasn't John, was it?
I thought you've changed it.
No. It was actually Yahya. No, his actual name was Yahya.
And remember his Yahya John story.
No, not that. It's actual Yahya, brother.
That was John Taylor, you mean?
John Taylor,
yeah.
But yeah, like they say, what's that thing? Ask how are you? You know what I mean?
Okay?
Are you okay?
Sheikh Jamil always says that. He says, "La'ini wa matta'amini." La'ini wa matta'amini. Find me and don't feed me. Yani, it's not like you giving me masalan a meal to eat. It's nice and I appreciate it, but actually what I needed more sometimes was just your support. Just someone you calling me and just letting me know that you're there. And that's why a lot of brothers, when they do at the end of the conversation realize that you actually didn't want anything, it's like, wow, like Anjad, you actually just called, like, just heck. Don't call me because I'm too busy, alhamdulillah.
But you know what, Sheikh Nassim, once a brother
his
called
number
me.
Is 0. What's your number again?
A brother called me once.
0415.
A brother called me once, and normally this brother will call when either he wants something or occasionally he might call just to check up, right? But when he's on the phone, it's hard to get him off. So I remember I was in the car park just walking through the car park near a shopping center, and my phone rang. And I was carrying something, phone rang. I looked at it like that. I looked at the phone. I frowned like, Ya Allah, halla now. I haven't got time for this guy. I was about to put the phone back in my pocket, but I said to myself, like a tab, you know what I mean? I answered the phone. All I heard is, وحياة Allah, if you did not answer the phone, I would have chucked something at you. And it would look like they're standing right in front of me.
Oh, this is unjust, but this, especially if you're a da'i, or you're a sheikh, or you're someone respected amongst the brothers, yani, a lot of them, they're really shocked. They're really shocked that, oh my God, yani, this guy called me, or this guy actually, yani,
it's nice. It's nice.
Obviously, before it was a visit, yani, I was talking to one of the brothers, and because we're in the bubble, so it's a bit different. But one of the brothers, he goes, a lot of the mashaykh, they don't get it, that for a lot of the general people, a lot of general people look at him like they're up here, you know what I mean? Like this guy's a guy that you love and you really respect. So if that guy visited my house, and it's just like he just came for a visit, like, it's like so you never forget that moment. You're like you put that.
And it's quite rewarding.
You put that couch in plastic, and you cherish it for the rest of your life. Or if he just called, usually there must be a reason. And even myself, I'm guilty. Sometimes you only call, again, it's a norm. You only call brothers when you need. But then sometimes, if Allah Azza wa Jalla has mercy on you, and you have the time to call someone, just especially the closer brothers, the brothers that we see regularly.
Especially if you know someone's done something good, someone's done a good deed. As we know, if someone's praised, it's a reward from Allah.
Someone's sick, someone's brothers, like they're sick, or they haven't been to the masjid in a week. That phone call, so I'm just checking up, inshallah, everything's good.
Which, mind you, it is from the Sunnah. The Prophet used to ask, where's so and so, and it is.
And in these times, if you have close brothers, if you have brothers that are regular, if anyone that you know that could do with a phone call, SubhanAllah, something you really don't know what someone's going through. But when you call them, you don't know what it meant because you didn't know what they were going through. But I know many cases where a brother was down and out, finished. But SubhanAllah, a person calls them and they literally, their life changed after that phone call. In the situation that we're in now, where everyone's at home and everyone's depressed, give the person a call.
If you could have a video on the other end to see the brother, you're probably calling your brother to see how he is, and he's standing on the ledge about to jump off. So, hello, yes, I come. I just call. You don't know what situation the person's in. But
so if you know people, and not just a message like Omar was saying, not just like a general message that you send to 100 people. Try and personalize it.
Okay, yeah.
I think there was one story. Allah, flashbacks come to memory. Is there was one brother, he always used to call the sheikh and annoy him and stuff. Anyway, the sheikh sort of got to a point when he saw his phone call, he didn't know, he wouldn't answer. Maybe 3-4 days later, when the sheikh's not doing anything, he answer. Anyway, once he's telling the brother, he goes, well, yeah, I'm very close with the sheikh and this and that, whatever. And then the guy goes, oh yeah, I have it. He goes, no, he goes, watch. He goes, I'll call the sheikh. He always answers. He's calling. And the sheikh didn't answer him. Then the brother goes, let me try. As soon as the other brother called, the sheikh answers straight away.
Oh no.
And he goes, sheikh, he didn't answer him. I called.
Break his heart.
Maybe he was busy.
Break his heart.
So maybe that works on the other extreme. Yani, don't annoy someone too much. But yeah, yani, just, I think, you know what I find also, Sheikh Nassim, which I find is very, it sheds a lot of light. Old school friends, old, uni friends, TAFE friends, work friends, they haven't spoken to in years and years and years. Just a call out, they might not even have your number anymore. A call out of the blue, subhanallah, that changes. I remember there was one brother, Nadal, knows his name's Brother Bashar, Allah make it easy for him. I haven't seen him, he went overseas, I haven't seen him probably 8 years, put 8 years on it. To me, he was overseas, he moved overseas. One day, out of nowhere, it wasn't a phone call, forget a phone call. I had a knock on the door, I opened and he was there with his family visiting. Out of nowhere, not even a phone call. He said to he goes, I wanted to surprise you more than just a phone call. So a person I knew met him and said, oh, Omar's home. Because that friend called just to see where I am. He goes, sure, I am someone I know regularly. I get my home. He goes, khair, inshallah, this and that. And then that's how he found out. And he came straight over. Told him where I live. To me, I still remember that till today. I still remember. And my wife had given birth, so he actually came with a gift too. Yani that random stuff, till today, I'll never forget it. And it meant the world because, if he didn't do it, I'm not going to question it. You know what I'm not going to say, how come he didn't do it? You know what I mean? So when you do something for someone that no one's going to question you if you didn't do it, does that make sense?
And that's part of the loving for the sake of Allah. A lot of brothers, they ask, yani, how do I know if I love someone for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal? And the answer, the general answer is that there's no other maslahah for you. There's no other maslahah there. It's not that you're going to lose your job or he's not going to like you. And there's no maslahah. There's nothing. You don't want to marry his sister. There's no maslahah. It's simple. I want to do it because I want to, because I love you for the sake of Allah. You're my Muslim brother. I want you to be happy. I want our brotherhood to flourish. I want our brother to grow, etc. And that's why I do what I do.
Reminds me of the, I don't recall it exactly, of the man who went to visit someone in another town for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the angel came to him. Do you remember the full wording of the hadith?
No, not the full wording, though.
Yeah, and he was rewarded for it because he went solely for that reason.
The hadith, I think it says that, it says, why are you visiting? He was questioned the way he visited. He said, I love him, I'm visiting for no other reason because I love him for Allah's sake. The angel said, the love of Allah is upon you, or Allah will love you how you love
Allahu Akbar. So
your
you got
brother.
the love of Allah,
or Allah loves
ta'ala.
you because of this. You love your brother for Allah's sake.
So
Subhanallah.
that's, we all need Allah's love, and subhanallah, we should seek the actions that will bring Allah's love.
Doesn't that go underneath the ones that are shaded to people that meet for Allah's
That's
shade?
right, yeah, excellent.
With no intention, as Sheikh Nassim
They meet for that reason and part for that reason.
You don't want a business, nothing, no other reason. They come together.
No benefit.
But these days, let's say Nassim realizes, Sheikh Nassim realizes that our dear brother Nadal's grass is growing, for example. All right? Random, yeah? And he does that random act of kindness. The guy that cuts his grass, he calls him because listen, go past this house and cut his grass too. Out of kindness. Right? That's something he's doing for Allah's sake to help a person, you know. But unfortunately, these days, the first thing Shaitan will put into the mind of a person is, what's going on?
What's he want from me?
What does he want? I understand that there's people that do things for Allah's sake. There are people that do things for Allah's sake. I remember once I was in a masjid doing i'tikaf, and the brothers told me, yeah, the mosque has blankets, and I went there was nothing. I remember I was just sleeping on the floor. One of the brothers, until today I have suspicion who he is, but I can't 100% pinpoint who he is, left and broke his i'tikaf. He broke his i'tikaf. He went to Kmart, bought a sleeping bag, and all I remember, I was sleeping, I got hit by a sleeping bag. Something hit me. I remember because obviously I'm sleeping, so it wants me to. Gotcha. I got hit. I woke up and there was a sleeping bag, had the tags on and everything like that. I looked around, everyone was asleep, and I knew that someone had, you know what I mean, gifted that.
I reckon the guy just wanted to hit you with a sleeping bag.
Well, maybe, but you know what? Like,
I think I was with you that year, Omar, but it wasn't me.
You know what? I appreciated that until like today I'm thinking about it, and I assume who the brother is. You know what I mean? But it was just so nice. Well, yeah, I just really appreciated that.
Before I tell my story, do you have any, like, a lot of brothers have these like acts of brotherhood that happen to them, which subhanAllah they haven't forgotten.
Yeah.
Before I mention mine, do you have any that you can think of?
You mention yours first, and I'll think of one.
Then that makes me it's not that close to your heart.
Well,
I remember.
I have many because Omar was my neighbour for many years. So all that for 1 year was cut short. But anyway, it's another story.
When I was young, and I was at Cabramatta Masjid, in Cabramatta West, Masjid Uthman, and that was when I was younger, sort of my local masjid. And when I was younger, I used to like going there. And there was a brother, I have no idea who he is. I can't remember exactly what he looks like. No idea what's that. Like, well, it's the first time I actually seen him at the masjid. So he had a perfume, and he was just giving some perfume to the brothers, and there wasn't many, and I was one of them. So he put it on, and my shot was very, very, very nice perfume. So I asked him, I said, brother, what's the name of that perfume? Where can I get it from? And he took it out of his bag and he gave it to me. And he didn't let me I said, no. I just want to know where it was from. I want to get one, inshallah. And he wouldn't let me. He forced me to take it. And subhanallah, I don't know his name. I don't remember anything about him except that, mashallah, it's taller. I think it was black short sleeve thobe, and he had a man bag on with a white sunnah cap. That's all I remember. And he gave me the perfume. And to tell us, I'll make dua for that person, because I was young, and it was an example of brotherhood that you don't see every single day. But it made me love the masjid. I'm young. I'm not an older person. Now I don't have a million friends at the masjid. I don't know this guy. Just subhanallah, an example of brotherhood. Something so simple. That perfume might have costed him $5 or $10. It might have been nothing, but for me, especially when I was young, it meant the world. Subhanallah. So no one knows what little act of kindness you do, from a simple phone call, a simple giving that person a perfume, whatever it is, and
it has far-reaching effects as well.
And that's the hadith of the Prophet: "Tahadu tahabbu," gift one another and love each other. So that gifting increases the person in love.
A brother told me a story recently. One of the brothers who was a regular in the masjid was sick, so he wasn't present for a few days. But I think he was in hospital, and he was away from the masjid. So this brother sent him, I think, like a fruit box to his house, delivered like to his front door, basically. And the message he sent him back was a beautiful message. He said, "May Allah make you and your family happy in Jannah as you made me and my family happy through this gift."
SubhanAllah.
So you bring happiness to him by a simple gift, as you said. Give gifts. It will bring happiness between one another, bring love between one another. And this is something we should do, not only for for reasons, out of the blue. Why not? Especially in these times where people need that lift, they need those the good feelings and vibes.
I got one more for you.
Faddal.
I went to the masjid at Fajr, and I bumped, and I was sick.
When was this?
2000.
I thought you were going to say like today in the morning.
No, 2012. Yeah, 2012, 2013. That was because I know my son was born that time. Anyway, so I went to the masjid, and I was coughing and whatever. And one of the brothers, he came up to me.
خربنا اللغة العربية وخربنا الإنجليزية.
Anyway, that's coughing. Anyway, just used to always yelling at the kids, stop. Anyway, so I had a little bit of runny nose, whatever. Anyway, brother comes up to me and he annoyed me. Why he annoyed me? He goes, "What's wrong?" I'm not feeling that well. Why? What's happening? I'm obviously I got a blocked nose. How long has it been like that for? Allah khalasni from this bloke. It's just very annoying. Like, when you're sick, you just can't be bothered for anyone. And I go, "Wallah, I'm just very tired." He goes, "Khair, inshallah." He goes, "You got work today?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've got to figure out how to get to work and stuff like that." Anyway, I woke up, got dressed. As I'm leaving, I saw a container of honeycomb honey, right, sitting right at my front door with a lemon juice, freshly squeezed.
Beautiful.
Sitting at my front door. And I knew it was the brother because that's what he used to do. And I'm like, subhanAllah. And mind you, the brother had disabilities. So him doing that is a big thing, He's passed away, Allah yarhamu, but that was something special. And then the other thing too, and that time he was asking me, "Oh, what are you doing? Where are you going?" And I was telling him, "Listen, next week, I'm taking my family to Queensland." Every day he would call me and say to me, "How are you going to get there? I'll drop you off. How are you going to get there? I'll drop you off. How are you going to get there? I'll drop you off." Almost every day, to the point where he called my mum to find out when I'm going. To that point, because I used to be living close to where my mother's house used to be. So anyway, finally, I accepted. I go, "All right, no worries, drop us off at the airport, no problems." Alhamdulillah, he came, he cleared out his van, had a Taraga back then, dumped everything, whatever, dropped us off at the airport. The whole way, when you're coming back, "I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to pick you up. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you." And he got a disability. Allah yarhamu. Ended up passing away, subhanAllah. He was very sick. The brothers, know him very well, but
it wasn't the one that was at Reesby, was it?
Yeah, Allah yarhamu.
He used to come in the
Nassim, Allah yarhamu.
I was wondering what happened to him, subhanAllah.
I remember how we used to bring the food to the events.
Conferences. This is what I'm getting to. He used to do a lot of khair. But this just shows, from that time, wallah, the love, And my mum respected that too. She saw how he would work for everyone. Mom came and helped him as much because they were neighbors, they were close. Anyway, so again, he called my mum, find out when I was coming back, and this and that. And when I was Queensland, he called me, goes, I'm gonna pick you up from the airport. I said, Tayyip, okay. If you insist, I'm not gonna argue with that. Anyway, the plane should have arrived 8 o'clock at night. What time? I said, listen, 8 o'clock, 8:30, inshallah, we should be able to get out of the airport. Okay, I'll see you at 8:30. No worries. Call me when you're at the airport. Subhanallah, what happened during that time? The plane went up in Queensland, and about 20 minutes into the flight, turned around and made an emergency landing. Right? There was apparently some smell on the plane. There was some fuse that was blown. I don't know. There was something going on. When we were landing, it's one of the, I know that time there was fire trucks everywhere. Anyway, we landed, and they said, listen, we're unable to get the plane going. We've got to put you up in a hotel the night, and then you're on the first flight back in the morning. And obviously, I'm coming back. We can't, emergency until they get us off the plane. It wasn't until we got out and they got onto the bus to take us to the hotel I was able to call him. So I called him and said, listen, the flight was returned, this and that, whatever. He goes, so you're not coming back? He goes, Khalas, I'll just wait till you come. I go, like, go home, relax, take it easy, and I'll catch you. No, what time? I go, listen, they're saying that we get on the 6 o'clock flight and we should arrive 7 o'clock in Sydney. Babe, okay, no problems. That's not what broke my heart. That's not what killed me. When he came to pick us up in the morning, he had pizza. This is in the morning. He had boxes of pizza. I remember there was like mansef and there was all this stuff. And he goes to me, Wallah, it broke my heart. He goes to me, sorry, they're cold. He goes, I bought them for you yesterday. So he didn't just come to the airport. He came with dinner.
And breakfast.
No, not breakfast. Afwan, just dinner. But
last night.
He's telling me, sorry, they're cold, but I'll put them in the fridge, you can still eat them. You know what I mean? Like sakhanun and stuff like that. I look like that, and he still brought them with him. And he's apologizing. Like, what are you saying sorry for? I was shocked. Like, it wasn't, just coming to the airport. It's coming with a meal, with dinner. As you know, that brother, Allah reward him, Allah rahamu, he went out of his way a lot. But that's an example, to go out of your way. A person doesn't forget. There's one brother now I do business with, he benefits from my business. He does a service and I pay him for it. Right? The reason that happened is a relationship we built because once upon a time, he goes to me, are you going to attend the GIYC camp? It was $150. I remember that time. I go, nah, I can't afford it, this and that. Whatever. He goes, what do you mean? He goes, how much you can afford? I go, $50. He goes, no. He goes, for your age, it's only $50.
SubhanAllah.
Yeah, he goes, for your age, only $50.
SubhanAllah.
He goes, didn't you know? I'm like, no. He goes, yeah. He goes, no, it's only for the adults that are that $150. He goes, yeah, no. He goes, this and that. And he waits like, inshallah, this and that, whatever. Anyway, till I found out later that he paid the other $100. You know what I mean? And from that, subhanAllah, I built a relationship with him just so I can go on that camp.
Excellent.
Because back then I was like 16, 17, and $50 to you, something big. You know what I mean? But those little type of things, a person, he will never forget those little acts of kindness. I know there was a brother, until today I see him and I still remember. And whenever my wife sees his wife, it's like a big reunion. I don't know the brother. All I know is that he used to attend the Jummah and the lesson sometimes. That when my first daughter was born, him and his wife came to the hospital to Rasmi and brought a gift. That's all I remember him by. Just as a random thing. That, subhanAllah, again. Because why? Because if he didn't come, Sheikh Nassim, I wouldn't say, Lema ija. How come this guy didn't come? You're not going to question that. But he came out, and he doesn't live around the area, he lives far, and he came out of his way. And little stuff like that, a person, he doesn't forget.
It's important for us to be, as much as we can, to be people that are just people of good. Wherever we go, just be a person who's good, subhanAllah. And it's not as hard as we think. Even though it's a kufr philosophy, but so it's a philosophy from a kafir, I should say. But there's some truth to it. That they say the highest level of happiness is you pleasing others. They say that's the highest level of happiness. for you to make other people happy. Our deen, how many hadith do we have about the Prophet ﷺ saying, the best of you are the most beneficial others. The most beloved deeds to Allah is entering the happiness upon your Muslim brother. And how many hadith do we have that? Sadaqah, just smiling in the face of your brother. And there's so many things that can be so simply done, and you don't know what profound effect it has on the other person. And it's not hard. It's sometimes it's time consuming. Sometimes you have to sacrifice a little bit. But you, generally speaking, you make it your character that you're just a person who likes to make other people happy. You become a person that likes to please other people. Don't be a selfish person. Give little gifts, do little things, get out of your way to be nice. And when it's necessary, it's a little bit of effort, but the reward of it, subhanAllah, how much it is.
Especially in these times, we need to be there for one another, even if it's a simple text, a call, a video call, whatever you can do to bring happiness and check up on your brother and your sister in Islam. Give them that time of day. Before we move on, we've got a few questions or a few comments. Firstly, our dear brother Omar, who was with us during some of those incidents. Omar back in the day at the events. Big Omar. We know him, Omar Bosnia. He says, Assalamu alaikum, my beloved brothers. Love you all for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ameen. And also Adnan, subhanallah, we don't forget the little things that others do for us. And that's a good comment, Adnan. Didn't want to shout out this time. Barakallah fiqh, Adnan, and you get a shout out anyway. That's really, he made a good point there. We don't forget the little things that others do for us, especially at times of need and high anxiety, and in some cases even people in depression. That call can change their life. That word of kindness, that gift. Today there's how many services are there where you can just get a gift and it's delivered to the door. If you don't want to you can't go physically visit someone because of the restrictions today, send a small gift.
You can Uber something to their house. You can, there's emergency, like one of my emergency, and they send flowers, gifts, cakes, whatever it may be. I remember I was talking to a few brothers and saying that you can just add someone's address on the Uber and just send something straight to, straight to their house. And sometimes you can put a message, please tell them it's a gift, because I know if I open an Uber and someone tells me I got a pizza, I didn't order, I'll close the door. But yeah, you can send that, let them know that it's a gift. Yeah, you can actually do that, because the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will relieve a Muslim on the day of resurrection that relieved the brother in this world. That's what the Prophet ﷺ said. Whoever relieves his brother from a calamity or trial or tribulation or difficulty in this world, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would relieve his difficulties and his hardships on the day of resurrection, where you need it. So,
and there's so many,
especially when and we're talking about things that you don't need it, you don't expect it. But now let's look at something that a person actually needs it. You can see it in his life that he is struggling. Unfortunately, and I know Sheikh Nazim has something to add to this, that when we see a brother down, we think that he can get himself out of the hole, or we kick him down even further. But when we see a brother doing well, okay, it's good to help him, but who deserves the help more? Obviously, the one that's down, on his situation or on life. You find that, for example, a brother who got divorced. We automatically have this thing that when a brother's divorced, we move away from you. Like, no, his divorce is gone for
needs space.
Call him up, brother. What's going on? Everything all right? How's things? What happened? How can we help? Do you want to leave your kids over for? If the kids, for example, are stuck with him, do you want to leave them over for a couple of days so you can? So it's an offer. It's just an offer. You know what I mean? Do you want me to take it? I'm taking my kids to the park. Do you want me to take them, how to let them kick around while you try to sort out a bit of your, your stuff? It could be that work, fine, whatever it is. They take food, make a tabkhal, make food, take it to his house. Tell him, he, and likewise commend the sister too. We find that, but sisters more sort of bond together and help each other out. The guys, like, as soon as we find out he's divorced, what do? Let's leave him. We've got to give him his space. What do you mean? This is the time that he needs advice. Because you know what happens?
I'll tell you a story on that actual story on it that happened. There's an older man that I know, and this guy, He's a beautiful person, but he loves to find the faults in other people. Loves it. He like fiends off it. So there's one particular man that he's related to, and he talks a lot about him. One day, this man got divorced, and he went to that person's house. That person knows that he got divorced and he left the house, and he actually didn't have much wealth with him because he left the house and stuff like that, and he wasn't a very wealthy man. So that man went, he grabbed some cash, and he came and gave it to him. No conditions, no nothing. He knows that doesn't have. He didn't go to him for wealth. He just went to visit that person because they're close, in a sense close. But he went, got money, and gave it to him. Until now, that happened over 10 years ago. Until now, even with the other stuff that he talks badly about him with, he always mentions this point. That when I was down, he was the person, even though he was probably less able than others that were closer to him and more wealthier than that person, but he was the one who went, got money, and gave it to me without conditions, without anything. Here, use it to help yourself in this time for now.
And
It's simple. It's like it. I'm sure it didn't. That guy's not broke. He's not on the streets because of that simple assistance that he gave him. And it's sometimes so simple. We can help a person with something so simple, but it makes a world of difference. SubhanAllah.
I remember when I was in Egypt, and there was a sheikh who was probably, the best person I met in Egypt. Every time he would see us, basically, and he knew our situation and our story, we sought advice from him on what to do, what not to do. And every time he'd see us, he says, how are you? How's your family? What do you need? Do you need anything? Do you need money? How's the schooling? Do you want me to call the principal? Every single time. Every single time. And you felt he meant it, and he actually did many a times. We needed schooling, he would call a school. Do this, help him. If they need anything, call me. And they just went out of their way. And we found out later many stories of that about him. And, general, he was always helping others, the ones who were in need. And, he lived a simple life because he would help others. He wouldn't, hoard the money. And he was very helpful. And subhanAllah, these people, you never forget them. You make dua for them for the rest of your life. And that's how we have to be. We have to be people who help others, who benefit others, are kind to others, especially in these times where people are in need of help, are in need of a call, are in need of a word of support. Even if it's a lot of people today, I realize, don't like talking on the phone. They prefer a WhatsApp message or a voice memo. Do that. Do it. Why not?
Assalamu alaikum, brother. How you going? Inshallah, just checking up on you. Inshallah, you and your
You
family
can't
well.
go because you don't have WhatsApp.
Well, there's other means. Anyway.
He does have WhatsApp, but you don't have that number.
Yeah,
there's the work.
I realized that last week.
There's the work phone. That's it. But yeah, that's for work purposes.
I thought like me and Omar were close.
You thought
Ramadan nights and
maybe there's a
youth nights and we.
I left.
I was his secretary.
I didn't.
I was his secretary.
Oh, that sounds bad.
You
were, but
no,
Habibi, look, you were the clinical manager. How's that? That sounds a bit better. And you were the administrator. You're administrator.
I'll never forget. SubhanAllah, people used to walk in and think that I was the podiatrist.
I don't think they'll forget either. Once remember walking in and
you know how I know if there's anything ever pops up, or if anything wrong or anything whatever, it's related back to Sheikh Nassim. Because whenever he used to write something, for some reason, he had this thing that he always used to do it in uppercase. Mazboot, the names in uppercase. So whenever I see something, adding to the system. So I knew it's him. You know what I mean? During that time or whatever.
What did I do wrong?
Nothing. But I'm just saying, I'll just know that patient or that person came in the time that you were there.
I remember. Someone came in and they straight away took off their shoe and they're talking to me about their bunions. And I'm trying to find a second where they stop talking just so I can say I'm not the podiatrist and I have no idea what you're talking about. And they're explaining haram, their life story, and I'm just thinking in my head, how am I going to break it to this person that Habib Albi, I have no idea what a bunion is and I have no idea how to fix it. And I just said, look, if you want, I can make an appointment with the doctor. Oh, you're not the doctor. No,
so I still got your candle. Your candle's still there.
Wow, you didn't use it?
Nah, not really.
What's this candle about? Maybe enlighten our listeners and those viewing on Facebook.
No, subhanAllah, he just likes to, what's that word, reminisce?
What does that mean?
What's it? What?
Think back about things.
And reminisce. I like to have a nice atmosphere.
Oh, okay. That's
like
a candle.
nice atmosphere.
Well, there's a word for it. What is it? That aroma. He likes to.
Aroma. There.
Yeah, there you go.
I like nice smells.
Oh, okay.
I like certain temperature.
Well, I think we'll leave it there. And let's move on.
We are live on Facebook. We got downlights. Wanted to dim the downlights.
We are live on Facebook. You can leave your comments, any stories you have, ways of helping, ways of lifting the spirits of others, way of being a general or a beacon of light and someone who can bring hope to others. Adnan has left a comment on Facebook, as you can do. Adnan says, uppercase is a common habit for professionals in engineering background, and smiley face. I think it was referring to your uppercase writing skills or habits.
I wonder what the wisdom behind that is. Why they do that?
Doesn't uppercase mean online that you're serious? Is that what it means? Or you're shouting or something? People get upset if you do uppercase?
Yeah, I don't type on uppercase online. When I have a habit of doing it when I'm typing in Excel. Okay. I have a habit of doing that, but...
And no, it's not a sentence. It's just talking about like name and last name and maybe something and the address.
Another thing about subhanAllah, about being nice and gifting, it's very hard to hate someone or to be mean to someone when they've given you a gift or done something nice. So even if you want to, I'll give you an example. And Adnan was part of this. Allah Yajzil Khair. There was something that I wanted to buy. So I said, Assalamu alaikum shabab. Does anyone know anyone selling product X? I'm willing. I want to
product A. Product A.
Yeah, product X doesn't sound. doesn't sound too good.
Product A.
Yeah, anyone? Product A. It was an iPad. So anyone? Anyone selling a product A? I just want to get one for my kids. I just want a second hand just for my kids because of now that they're at home more, they got a lot more work to do. So one on the computer, one here, one there. So one of them will be on the iPad doing their reading and stuff like that. So Ali Zil Khair, they spoke to one of the classes that we have, and between them, they got me that product A. Jazakumullah khairan. So
just say iPad.
I can say iPad. I didn't want to, but okay. They got their iPad. So, I was upset because I wanted to buy one, but I said to myself automatically, subhanallah, now next week I have to be like extra nice, not because they bribed me, but because it's a nice gift. It's a gesture from them. Now, if someone's nice automatically, and it's just hard for you not to like that person. I know individuals that I have sort of had not enmity, like not hatred, but just some ill feeling towards. But they gave me a gift, simple gift, something so small. This is tasdiq lil hadith. This is like a truthfulness to the hadith of the Prophet. Simple gift. What was in my heart went, and I had no choice. I literally had no choice. It couldn't stay in there.
So Adnan mentions a few more comments about this uppercase, and I think we'll seal that point there. It's harder to make reading errors. Spelling mistakes stick out when in uppercase. I have no idea. Anyway,
it's normally when you're doing uppercase, the word doesn't recognize
it.
That's
right,
isn't it?
No.
I'm not with the online world. I don't know what's happening. What do you think?
Online on
so
word.
What we learn from this, what we learn from this is. Sheikh Nassim has to look into engineering now.
Yes.
That's it. Mind you, the voice of Ahl Sunnah Jama'ah, that's all in uppercase. There you go. So whoever designed that is an engineer. So there you go.
Was that Jamal?
I think it was maybe Safwan or Jamal, one of the two brothers.
Safwan, maybe. Safwan, isn't he a type of engineer?
Yeah, I think so.
There you go.
Anyway, we're heading to the home straight. Let's wrap up. Dr. Omar, any final advice regarding helping, supporting, advising, being there for one another?
I just blanked out, so just get him first and then come back to me.
Sheikh Nassim?
This was from the beautiful traits of our Prophet ﷺ. What more do you want? And we need to be, as much as we can, learning about the Prophet ﷺ and implementing the praiseworthy traits that he held. And in that, we come closer and closer to being the perfect human being.
Let's
Back
see.
with us, Omar.
Was that it? Come on, man.
Need more time?
تفضل نضال, you have your comment.
No, I'll wait for you. I'm alright. I've got all night.
No, I would just يعني I think
No,
the way
okay, I'll tell you for
no, because with online stuff, and we commented sort of online and things like that, we are, and what I want to say is like we are moving away from that important interaction to more of online. Yeah, it is more better to go see a brother physically than sending him an online message, for example. That now, brother today said to me, guys, man, I opened up my messenger, Facebook Messenger. He said I had 90 something comments from October last year that I had no idea that I had in my inbox. And you know, he goes, and I'm responding to some of them now because I was talking to him, what are you doing? So yeah, sometimes I think with online stuff, and there is benefits obviously, but it shouldn't destroy the social interaction that a person will have, because you know, sometimes somebody sends someone a message, how you going? They might send the emoji smiley face, right? But that doesn't tell you how he's going. Doesn't tell you how he's feeling. You can't look at his eyes and see, you know, what's going on. Normally you can look at a person. Like, I remember once I had some news. I was in the car, someone just gave me some news, and it wasn't good news, but you know, alhamdulillah. I came out of the car and I thought I was normal. I thought that I was normal. People saying, what's wrong? You saw a ghost. It doesn't matter how much you try to put on that persona of, yeah, I'm happy or whatever, people can still see it in your actions, in your eyes, in everything. So I think that's where the problem comes in, that if you want to really, really know someone, as we know, there is an Islamic science that it's called Firasa, which is reading someone's face. And someone say, how do I? That's natural. And everyone reads someone's face one way or another. You know, you can tell how they are, how they feel, they're upset, they're happy, their eye contact, if they're not paying attention. If you can see it in someone's actions, you can see it in someone's eyes, you can see it in someone's. So we don't want to get rid of that. We don't want. Yeah, you should call, you should catch up, but if you can go that one step further, especially if you know that a person is having problems or you've overheard or whatever, then that interaction, I think, is golden. You can't beat that. And the person, obviously, as a medication or a cure for what he's going through, it's much more beneficial. And as we said, obviously the times we are now are a little bit difficult, and that because of avoiding all this stuff. But what I want to say is, don't think that you can't be, I won't say the word intimate, but affectionate. That's the word. You can't be affectionate with a brother. You can't put your hand on his shoulder. How are you? All right. You can't give him a hug. You know what I mean? You can't. The Prophet ﷺ would put his hand on the chest of a companion. Sometimes the companions would hold each other's hands. So that type of comforting. You know what I mean? That all plays a role in making someone feel better. Look at the hadith of Jibreel. He came to Muhammad ﷺ in the form of a man. And the scholars, they spoke in detail about just the way he sat and put his thighs against the thighs of Muhammad ﷺ, or his knees against the knees of Muhammad ﷺ, out of closeness, out of etiquette, and out of importance, and out of, I'm an important guest, I'm an important person coming to tell you some important information, and it's closeness from what I'm telling you should be, taken seriously. So all that plays a role. The online won't be able to, obviously, you know what I mean, do that type of stuff. So I think the advice from me would be, don't make society make you feel embarrassed to be open to the brother, to be sympathetic, to have, to show that concern
The Prophet ﷺ said, to the meaning, whoever loves their brother, let him tell him, I love you for the sake of Allah. Omar.
Many find that hard.
It's cringy. It's these days, as my kids, they got this new word called cringy.
Cheesy.
Cringy.
Cringy or cheesy?
Cheesy.
Cringy.
Cheesy is old.
There's something like, that's cringy, Dad. What are you talking about? Cringy. These days, if you go to a brother and say, I love you for Allah's sake. I know.
Sounds better in Arabic.
You know?
Say in Arabic.
I love you. But, yeah.
And as brother Omar said
yeah,
Allah, you know, and you respond as well. May Allah, for whose sake you love me, love you. This is the end of the day, to earn Allah's love. So we love each other for the sake of Allah, seeking Allah's love.
Yeah. But that I think my only go home message is that interaction.
Don't forget it.
Don't forget it. It is
when possible. Yeah.
It is very important.
You know, two things. So it was 1, 2 now. Even now, even if we're like, cause social distancing and stuff. You know, there's a lot of groups of brothers. They know each other. They're good friends, etc. Even you can like set up like a meeting, for example, on Zoom, masalan.
Yeah, WhatsApp's got group video calling as well.
I think it's limited to 4, but
4 people only.
I think. Where you can just for 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, just everyone call up and just it's nice. You know, it's just the brothers see each other, bisalmu ala ba'd,
touch base, as they say.
Touch base. How's everything? How's everyone? You know what I mean? It's just you see them and it's probably as close to that physical interaction.
Some brothers are struggling. Wallahi, they are.
And be serious according to the situation. If brother's really down in his car, or whatever, don't come start cracking jokes and be at the level that he's at. Because we got this thing where brothers they're down. They're coming and like I remember once they went to visit our brother and I was there and he was down on life, down on everything, and they were cracking jokes and he just looked at him. I swear I remember these words. He goes, "Are you seriously come and talk to me about this now? Is this what you want to have a laugh about?" He goes, he ended up giving them dawah. He goes, like, are you serious? He goes, does it look like his son got diagnosed with a medical condition, right? He goes, does it look like I'm in a situation now to be joking about this type of stuff? That was a wake up call to the brothers, you know. And the intention was to go there to remind them of Allah, and they went to, you know, having a little bit of giggle, a little bit of laugh, whatever. So yeah, and when you're gonna go to that person, don't do something that's going to offend his position. You know, you're there to enlighten him. Sometimes you go there, you have to say nothing. Someone just needs to talk, and all they want to hear is khair, inshallah, alhamdulillah. You know, Allah make it easy. That's what sometimes all they want to hear. And you should know the person you're visiting anyway before you go. What
his
the
situation, his condition, and be wise and use wisdom when dealing with it. We've spoken obviously generally about the people that need help. Make sure your family is looked after first and foremost. Your parents especially. Yani, a lot of us, we're pretty good with outside people, our friends and stuff. But a lot of our parents, we don't really worry much about them. And we know that, especially like in these times, a lot of parents, even themselves, are struggling. So if you're a child, masalan, make sure your families, like your dad, your mom, if they rent, their rent's looked after. If they need food, like don't just ask them, do you need help? Because a lot of time they're going to say no. Just go and do it. Just go and do it. Your uncles, your aunties, your grandparents, wallah, like a lot of them, they struggle. They really struggle. And a lot of us, we really neglect this type of da'wah towards our family members, where they see us hoping or talking in da'wah with a lot of people, but sometimes we neglect them the way we neglect the way that we should be dealing with them properly. If like Ramadan's coming up, Eid, whatever it is, sometimes you know someone's poor. He's not going to have money to, like, Dob, he's paying for the rent and buying a bit of groceries. Let him just give him money to buy Eid presents for his kids, for example. Whatever it is, look to assist wherever you can, especially your family. And don't make him have to ask. It's always better to give without them asking. Most people, I'm going to tell you, like, if someone asks me, Akhi, do you need help? Alhamdulillah, I don't. But I'm saying, if someone was to ask me, 99% chance, unless it's very circumstantial, I'm going to say, Jazakallah khair. You don't need help in anything. No, Jazakallah. Not even cutting a mango. I'll joke between the two. Yeah. Be honest, mate. This is like a yearly joke, isn't it? That you have. It's got to go in. Yeah. Mango season's finished. What is it? Can you tell that story again?
I think we might leave it. Wherever we leave it for
Next one.
another segment.
Next one.
We'll call it. But you know what? In saying
Life
that, I
lessons.
heard in India they genetically modified a mango to grow without a seed.
Oh, I wouldn't be
I don't know how
surprised.
true that is.
I wouldn't mind one.
Can I just say one thing? Wallah, I know this topic we're going a bit over, says Nadal, but I think wallah, it's important because this is what we're dealing day to day at the moment now. I think that a reminder that someone reminded me the other day. It goes to me, the most annoying thing in this world is when you are tickling Allah, you are putting your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are doing everything, you are praying, you are doing, but sometimes you just need that little bit of extra push. He goes, sometimes, according to the situation, some people will just say to you, bro, just put your trust in Allah. He goes, that sometimes doesn't solve I have a problem. I am putting my trust in Allah. You know what I mean? It's not about me not putting my trust in Allah. So sometimes people say, bro, put your trust in Allah, put your trust in Allah. I am putting my trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if that's the answer we can give to every person, then we'll never even have to consult anyone with anything. We never even have to consolidate. We never have to give advice. Any person that has a problem, just put your trust in Allah. No. Marx, for example, let's say someone's have a problem with his son. His son's gone off the rails. Would you tell him, put your trust in Allah? Yeah, of course he's putting his trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But you tell him, listen, get closer to your son, do more activities. You need to be more proactive in the advice that you're giving a person related to the situation, rather than just telling someone, put your trust in Allah or fear Allah.
Well, Aslan, the trust in Allah has means. You got to take the means.
Exactly. And he said sometimes he goes, and at one time he said, someone told me, fear Allah. He goes to me, he said to me, he turned around to the brother, he goes, brother, if I did not fear Allah, he goes, I would be in the sharia. He goes, I would be out in the clubs and pubs. He goes, I'm fear Allah. He goes, this time, he goes, I need more, obviously nothing more than that. He goes, but I need the extension of that. To remind the person of the reward that Allah will give him, to remind him of paradise, to remind him of for after every hardship there's ease, and to give him some advice. And the best advice that a person can give, Sheikh Nassim, is the advice based on
The Quran and the Sunnah.
Quran and Sunnah, and that's extension means knowledge, which means experience. So giving advice based on experience, based on knowledge, obviously related back to the Quran and Sunnah. And sometimes we try to solve a problem. Maybe he's not the one that you need to talk to. Maybe if he's got a problem with his son, for example, what are you talking to him for? You got to go to who? You got to go grab his son, put his son down. Like, this is your dad. What are you doing? You're going out at night. You're disrespectful. You're this. You're that. What are you doing? See, you're solving his problem by talking to the problem, which is obviously the son. So if you're going to get into that, obviously you're going in, and I told brothers this, I go, you're not going in just a pat on the back. It's not that. If you're going in there with the intention to bring positive light to the situation, to try to help in that situation. And a person says, I have a brother always says to me, guys, I'm not at that level of knowledge to help. I said to him, brother, you're not asked to go out of your way and solve the world's problems. But if you can tell a story to the person, if you can remind him about a story of the companions, if you can guide him some way, even some personal experience, you can tell, once I was in a situation and this happened and that happened. Sometimes that makes a person feel better.
It doesn't have to be a lecture.
It doesn't have to be a lecture.
Sometimes it's just that simple advice, which is from the heart, which makes a difference.
We ask Allah to make it easy.
Barakallah fikum, jazakumullah khair. I thank Dr. Omar and Sheikh Nassim for being with us tonight, and I thank all the listeners for tuning in on Albayan Radio or watching live on Facebook. Don't forget to get your Wi-Fi radio in time for Ramadan. You can purchase it from Dar es Salaam Islamic Bookstore in Lakemba and Bukhari House Islamic Bookstore in Auburn. Once again, I thank all the brothers for tuning in and the sisters as well. Barakallah fikum, wallahu a'lam, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.
Albayan Radio, the voice of Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah.